What's happening, Reject Nation? It's Greg Alva here.
It's Kyle Eilerman here.
Kyle Eilerman from the Fan Theory YouTube channel. Here today we're going to talk about Tragedy Girls. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for Tragedy Girls, we sure did, so we got invited to the premiere. Thanks, Caroline, for calling us. You rock. We want to be here to give our honest opinion today. Boy, was that crowd in an uproar. That crowd was really... I don't think it's been a while since I've been in a movie where the violent deaths occur and everyone's like... That was awesome. It's about these two teenagers in high school who are running this social media, mainly their Twitter that they're focused on. They're building it up and they want to get a bigger following, so they become these serial killers and they start covering events of the deaths and who's the murderer and why are these children going. They're covering the mystery, but they're the ones responsible for it. And this film is like a slasher satire.
Yeah, and it's a completely new take on that whole genre, because this time around it's like your main characters are the main killers.
Yeah, you're not focused on the group of victims. You don't have a Sydney. The main central focus is the two girls, and they kind of just hop right into it. The film is very funny, but it's super twisted. It really is. When you hear dark comedy, and I think that's one comment I made when we were watching the trailer, was I really want them to commit to the dark elements of this. They do. They really commit to the twisted nature of these two girls who are young, super detached sociopaths who only care about increasing their following and love killing people. So you do get a story about serial killers.
They do, and they do it in such a weirdly charismatic way that it's like
whimsical.
You appreciate them and you like them, but you're also like, I really hate these two.
Because the movie has this interesting effect that I really respect, because they're doing it based off serial killers, and they don't take the Dexter path. They're only killing bad people. No, they're killing good-hearted, innocent people. And so the film has this interesting contrast of, I like these guys, they're good, they're good, they're fun characters, and then when they kill people, you're like, I hate these guys, I hate them so much. That's to the film's credit, though. That's what the effect of the film I think they want you to feel.
Yeah, I think it's the in-between in the relationship between the two girls that makes you really love them the most, because they have such a true friendship. It's hard not to love these characters who love each other and are, because
of the weird
twisted way.
The weird theme of it is friendship. That's what I mean by satire, because it's a high school story about two girls wanting to do something. If you take out killing and replace it with something else, it's a high school movie about girls just wanting to have a future. They have their conflicts, but they also have this bond that's unbreakable,
and everything has a hashtag associated with it.
And there's some great social media commentary, especially after what we do. There are some jokes that, especially early on, where I'm like, well, would the average person really care about this if they're not really heavily involved?
But my following will grow.
Who are the two main girls again? They're the actors.
So Alexandra Shipp and Brianna
Hildebrand. Brianna Hildebrand was Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yep.
Alexandra Shipp was Storm in X-Men Apocalypse. Brianna is great in the movie. They're both great. They're fantastic actually in this film.
Alexandra Shipp,
she was the best.
She was so good. She was my favorite. Yeah,
she was the one where, in a film that is this whimsical, kind of detached from reality. I think the thing I told you in the car was, it felt like the writing approach was looking at social media personalities and then going, how would they behave in real life? Because these personalities, some of them are kind of like a satire of social media personalities.
Yeah.
But Alexandra Shipp, though, she gets to points in this film where you're like, she's genuinely scary. She's actually really scary. She's fun and entertaining. She's committed. She's really emotional. But there are times where you're like, she's kind of a terrifying woman.
She's so incredibly sweet in her actions and how she speaks. And then she just does these things without any soul attached. Just complete detachment from the fact that she's doing what she's doing.
And I feel like that's what the commentary's on in terms of social media. It's a really big emotional detachment, because that was another aspect I like to it, is how these two girls, when they're doing their killing, they're just talking like teenage girls.
You're just hitting bone, dude. I'm trying.
Totally a normal thing.
They never go into bloodlust. I'm a creepy killer. They never go into that. They just remain teenage girls.
Which is, I think, part of the reason why you still like them, because it's like, okay, well, these are sweet girls. They just happen to be
psychotic. Yeah. Because it's eerie and uncomfortable. There are times you're laughing where you're like, I'm laughing, but I feel kind of weird laughing.
I feel really terrible at the same time. Yeah.
But that's what makes for a great kind of twisted slasher movie, in my opinion. This doesn't follow traditional format of beat sheets of a slasher film in high school because you're focused on these two girls who behave just like regular teenage girls.
Yeah.
It's just the actions they do are very different by being murderers. Yeah.
It was satisfying because of some of what they do in the movie and how they respond to each other, how they take care of certain things is really incredibly entertaining to watch. At the same time, there's a few moments where you're just like, oh man, why, man, why?
To the film's major credit, it starts off interesting. It progressively gets more engaging as the film keeps going.
Yeah.
And I like that because at first I was like, this is interesting, but I'm not fully pulled in. But as the film keeps going, about like 30 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I'm pulled in.
Yeah.
And then, I'm even pulled in more now. So it's a good build of situations. There's a whole cast in here that is fantastic. Not everyone in here gets a lot of screen time. There's a lot of supporting characters in this movie. I find that the casting was great and the character writing of them was really good. Josh Hutcherson.
Oh yeah, he's so funny in this movie.
So funny.
He's so funny.
So
he plays the douchiest dude ever. It's so great.
And he's barely in it, but he's really good.
Kevin Durand was actually one of my favorite actors in this movie. A lot of people don't recognize him other than from like The Strain or whatever, but he was so good. I can't tell you much without saying
he plays creepy psychotic.
He plays it so well.
Craig Robinson, he produced the film too, and he has a pretty pivotal role in the movie, and he's really good in it too. And whenever they show up, it's like sometimes these characters get introduced a little late. When they're there, it's worth having them there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. The likable dude who's in love with Negasonic Teenage Warhead, Jack Quaid. This movie has a lot of performances that are intentionally a bit surreal, a little detached from reality. Jack Quaid is the one of the few characters in this film who's very sincere, probably the more relatable one.
It's hard not to like him.
It's really hard not to like him. Yeah.
Really, there's nothing wrong with him in the movie.
And he's probably the main dude, the main guy in the film, because his character, and I don't really feel like it's giving anything away. They're building up their social media, building up their video posts, and he's the guy who helps them out, but he has no idea who they really are. He's not aware that they're actually killers. But he has a crush on Brianna, and his performance is the one where you're like, out of everyone in this movie, I really hope he doesn't die. He's the one you really feel that for. Timothy V. Murphy as the sheriff character in this film.
Yeah, who plays his father.
He's really good. He's kind of like the Rick from Walking Dead for this.
That's a good way to put it.
The actor Keith Hudson, he plays the dad of Brianna, and they live in like a trailer park kind of home. But he has some of the funniest lines.
He really
does. He has some of the funniest moments when you're not expecting him to be funny, but he's so hilarious. So this film really commits to the being funny. It commits to the weirdness. It commits to like there's a few gory moments too where you're like, whoa, that was kind of. It's not as gory as some people might lead you to believe it is.
Yeah, no, I was actually pleasantly surprised with how because I'm not a huge gore guy, but this was like a perfect balance, I think. It wasn't overkill.
And at times kind of whimsical.
Yeah.
Sometimes. There are times where you're like, that's kind of disturbing. But then there are other times where this is just kind of whimsical. I think the film's very enjoyable. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid piece of material, and it's definitely original. It goes against the grain, and it challenges the audience on liking the main characters.
Original is a perfect word for what it is. It's definitely that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, because at first I was like, oh, it's kind of like a Heathers meets Scream. And then after a while, you're like, nah, it's just its own thing. Our issues with the film only come in with the finale, but we can't go into that because I would spoil the movie for you guys. But that's only a small portion of the film as compared to like 90 to 95% of the movie. You know?
I mean, I definitely would say I more than liked the movie.
Yeah.
I more than liked it. Yeah.
It's hard for me to say I love this movie.
Yeah.
In an intellectual way, I love the movie.
Yeah, because it really messes with you. So much. You're so confused on how you should feel after leaving that movie. Right?
And that's why intellectually I love it.
Yeah.
Emotionally, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Great. But my heart doesn't feel like I love it, but my mind is like, I love it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you.
So many great moments in that movie that it's like, for me, it's like, yeah, you should see it, but you kind of have to be prepared to feel a little bit messed with.
Because it really commits to the twistedness and the dark comedy.
Oh, it definitely is twisted.
This is a definition of a horror dark comedy.
Yeah.
Because there are some moments that are pretty intense. There's a couple moments where I saw you pretty much really on the edge of what was going on.
Like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
I would give it like, if there was a star rating, I'd probably give it like 4 out of 5 stars, actually, if I were to rate this movie.
Yeah, I would give it a good 4 stars.
Yeah, a solid 4. Yeah. But yeah, go watch the movie. I mean, it's getting like a limited release in LA and New York this Friday, and then it should probably be like nationwide on October 27th. There's a lot of social media buzz over this film because it's been playing at a lot of screenings and whatnot.
I was ultimately more pleasantly surprised than what I was expecting to be.
Yeah. I know you're a little hesitant with it.
I was.
And then by the time I was done, you're like, yeah, it's really good actually. And the crowd was really in an uproar because we were at Screamfest when we saw it.
Yeah.
And that's like all horror movies. Horror movie crowds can be a little bit like, I've been in horror movie crowds before where, you know, they can be like nitpicking and judging and criticizing, but they were having a rollicking good time.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, absolutely.
It's one hell of an entertaining film. All right, guys. Well, that's our review of Tragedy Girls. I hope you guys get a chance to go watch it. It's one hell of an entertaining, twisted film, that's for sure. So let me ask you guys, what is your favorite slasher movie of all time? Put it in the comments below. Engagement! You can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click that notification bell. Follow Kyle Eilerman on his YouTube channel, Fan Theory. Right here, you can click it. Or there's the card that appeared, or there's a link in the description box. Just follow him. Follow him. I'm telling
Please do
you,
that.
he's a solid regular on this channel, man. He needs your support, so follow him. Check out our Patreon if you want.
Do it, guys. It's worth it. They got some good stuff.
We got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.